Bruce Dickinson opens up about the future, Mike Portnoy joins me for an interview, and Exodus surprised the entire metalhead community with their news. Metal is live and well, so let's see what keeps it going today. Here you go. Fear Factory's promise. Metal band Fear Factory promised to finally finish the work on their upcoming studio album now that they got some time on their hands after their tour just got cancelled. Oh yeah, and their tour just got cancelled.
Wait a minute!
And all because Des Fafara actually cancelled all of the upcoming dates, both for Cold Chamber and Devil Driver, all to concentrate on his personal health. Yet he promises to be back up on stage in late 2025. So now that Fear Factory, who have been touring quite heavily in the past years, got some time available for themselves, they promise to finally finish the work on their highly anticipated studio album. The first one with their new vocalist who joined the band all the way back in 2021. And even more, the band's leader Dino Cazares actually mentioned in one of the previous interviews that this new studio record will actually see the light of day already in 2025. And on it, Fear Factory promised to deliver their loyal fans exactly what they are expecting from a new Fear Factory record. A classic and very recognizable Fear Factory experience. Guys, real quick, before we continue, I simply have to tell you about rather sad statistics, and more specifically about the whole fact that only around 30% of the people who watch my videos are actually subscribed to the Metal Pilgrim channel. So if by any chance you still haven't done so, and especially if this is not the first video you're watching on the show, I would really appreciate it if you would consider doing it right now. Let's continue building this amazing heavy metal community together. Bruce Dickinson's revelations. Bruce Dickinson is a man who never stops, and so in a recent interview with Classic Rock magazine, the Iron Maiden frontman revealed the future steps of his solo career and spoke about the reimagined versions of his previous solo albums that he's been working on for a while now. But actually, before that, he kind of agreed with what most Bruce Dickinson fans knew before that his solo album Balls to Picasso was not as exciting as it could have been, especially for a guy who had just left one of the biggest heavy metal bands on the planet. And so Balls to Picasso will be the first reimagined Bruce Dickinson solo album, which will see the light of day this August already. And according to Bruce Dickinson, it won't be just a regular remix or a master. The new version features added guitars, keyboards, orchestration, and even a horn section that will make you want to shoot all the clowns on repeat, and even more. Bruce actually stated that the Berkeley music professors they've been working on this release with, quote, went full Aerosmith on the horns, and oh my god, it rocks! Yeah.
I'm a huge fan. I lost my virginity to you.
Really? Well, you know, there's a lot of the 70s I don't remember.
But of course it doesn't stop there. After a reimagined version of Balls to Picasso, which by the way will be titled More Balls to Picasso, Bruce plans to re-release Skunkworks, Tattooed Millionaire, Accident of Birth, and Chemical Wedding, with the latter featuring some previously unreleased tracks. So it does look like 2025 will be quite a year once again for all the fans of Bruce Dickinson's solo career. But in all honesty, although of course I would love to hear all of those re-releases, I'm actually mostly excited about a new reimagined version of Balls to Picasso, just to be able to see what Bruce and the team were able to do with those songs with the new technology. And of course, in addition to everything, Iron Maiden vocalist also spoke about an upcoming tour with his main act, which promises to be quite a special one, and confirmed what we kind of all expected, that on the upcoming Run For Your Lives 50th anniversary tour, Iron Maiden will not do pretty much any deep cuts, and concentrate solely on the biggest hits from their first albums, starting with Iron Maiden and ending with Fear of the Dark. With the production of it being simply out of this world. So yeah, it's going to be quite a year for all of the Iron Maiden fans. Oh, and by the way, for all those who follow our Up the Iron series, I know that I did promise you a Run for Your Life setlist prediction video, and I promise you once again that it is coming very, very soon. There are just a couple of very special episodes I kind of have to do before that. And here the time has come for us, as we usually do in our Metal Digest, to take a look at the 5 latest releases from this week, which, although did not get their own segments in this video, are definitely worthy of your attention. German heavy metal legends Gravedigger finally dropped their newest studio album, Bone Collector, which, according to the band, is a logical continuation to their debut studio record, Heavy Metal Breakdown, released all the way back in 1984. And on this album, Gravedigger still proved that they do know how to play classic Teutonic heavy metal. US deathcore band Whitechapel has released the title track from their upcoming album Hymns in Dissidence, set to be released on March 7th via Metal Blade Records. And if you're a fan of deathcore, I am more than sure that this song will hit you hard. UK heavy metal legends Raven also dropped the title track from their upcoming Can't Take Away the Fire EP, out on February 14th via Silver Lining Music. After the last album, All Hell's Breaking Loose, we knew it was time to raise the bar yet again. Can't Take Away the Fire is the perfect introduction to this new EP. 5 tracks of pure cranium-crushing, headbanging mania, said about it John Gallagher. Dirkschneider dropped a reimagined version of an Accept classic Balls to the Wall, the new single of an anniversary re-recording of Accept's landmark album of the same title. Now, I have to be honest with you, I don't really like any re-recordings of classics, and thus I shouldn't be judging it, so definitely check it out for yourself. One of the hottest bands from Down Under, New Zealand groove metal outfit Alien Weaponry, just announced their new album Te Ra, which should be out on March 28th via Napalm Records, and already dropped the first single off of it, titled Mau Moko. Definitely worth a listen if you're a fan of the genre. By the way, guys, I've been meaning to ask that for a while now, but what kind of regular segments do you like the most in our Metal Digest, and which I should get rid of? For example, should I continue doing this Blitz releases segment? Please let me know in the comments, because this year I really want to take our Metal Digests to an absolutely new level. And I kinda need your help with the feedback. Metallica's Dirty Deeds. So, it has never happened before, and yet here it comes again. Following the devastated fires in California, Metallica and their All Within My Hands Foundation announced that they will be donating yet another $500,000 to fight the fires in their native state. And this rather positive, in my opinion, news has resulted in an entire wave of hate comments in social media, with dozens of keyboard warriors talking about how cheap Metallica are and how do they even dare to donate only $500,000 to this.
How dare you!
And so, first of all, let's be clear here. All the Californian bands who didn't say anything and didn't donate anything are totally fine, but Metallica, who donated $500,000, are utterly evil. And of course, I'm more than sure that everyone who commented negatively under those news donated way more than James Hetfield and his friends. right? But the funniest thing here is that those who follow my metal digests regularly do know that such news about Metallica kind of arise every couple of weeks or so, with all those who comment negatively under those not even being able to add up those donations and understand that Metallica is actually donating millions and millions of dollars on a monthly basis. So yeah, guys, here I just want to point out that, in my opinion, comparing who donated how much, and especially if we're talking about private initiatives, is simply cowardly. And sadly, as a Ukrainian, I do understand that a tragedy is a tragedy, and there is no need to measure it in one way or another. And of course, we all have been following the news of the devastated fires in California. We all know that hundreds of regular Americans lost their homes. We all know that Adrian Smith and Nathalie Smith lost their house in California. And so here I just want to say to all of those affected, and especially to all the metal pilgrims in California, that hey guys, we're with you, and you can go through this. And instead of being negative about a $500,000 private donation, let's all just be thankful to all those in our metal community who are doing their part in making this world a better place.
Oh, yeah!
A sudden surprise from Exodus. Thrash metal titans Exodus just dropped a lineup bombshell, announcing a sudden departure of their longtime vocalist Steve Zatra Souza, and right away welcoming back nobody else but Rob Dukes. And this may be some of the most surprising news in the world of metal for quite some time now. Now, if we're being very honest, it looks like the Exodus fan base kind of got divided into two parts, with half of them absolutely hating on this decision, and the other ones being rather excited about the possibility of Exodus returning to the form they showcased around 20 years ago. And the thing is that, at least as of right now, we actually have no idea whatsoever about why this rotation actually happened, and at least to me, and what it looks like to the vast majority of Exodus fans, this was a huge surprise that nobody actually expected from the band this year. And the craziest thing is that all this happened amidst Exodus pumping the crowd up about their upcoming studio album, which they promised to be the best one they ever had in their career. Which is rather obvious, what else could they say?
I am so great, I am so great.
And the thing is that I kind of have to be honest with you that while I don't have a definitive preference when it comes to these two vocalists, I actually consider the albums released by Exodus together with Rob to be some of the best ones in the band's entire career. So if you ask me, I'm actually quite curious to see what Rob may bring to the band during his second coming. And here, another quick thing that I simply have to tell you about in order for this show to even continue existing is that if you would like to rock some Metal Pilgrim merch at your next metal show and represent our community, you can do so by ordering it at metalpilgrim.net. And by the way, this one is actually on sale right now. So yeah, I know you hate when YouTubers do that, but I kinda have to, because, well, you know. Mike Portnoy says hi. Dream Theater's Parasomnia is undeniably one of the most anticipated albums of 2025 overall, marking Mike Portnoy's return into the legendary prog metal band. And thus, you know me, I simply could not resist but to invite Mike on the show to talk about it and much more. But before anything, I simply had to ask him that question that bothers each and every one of us.
All right, talking about the other bands, we have another minute. We all saw you rocking out to Taylor Swift a couple of days. That was awesome. I think that was like one of the best episodes on YouTube fucking ever. Let's be honest here. Has your daughter made fun of you for not knowing who Taylor is, and has she made you listen to more of her songs afterward?
No, she knew I did this video with Drumeo last year when it happened, and I told her about it, and she couldn't wait to see it. It's a funny video. But yeah, my daughter loves Taylor Swift. She's a Swiftie, and she went and saw the Eras tour. But you know, I don't listen to that kind of music, to be honest. Even if my daughter's listening to it with her headphones, she has headphones in, so I haven't really been exposed to it. And people say, well, you can't walk into a supermarket or a convenience store without hearing Taylor Swift. I mean, maybe I hear these kind of songs, her or Beyonce or Kanye. Maybe I hear them in the background, I just never know who is who, and I just never pay attention. So I legitimately did not know that song. That's legitimately the truth.
Well, that makes two of us. My oldest daughter is 7. She knows who Taylor Swift is, and she makes a lot of fun of me for not knowing the modern pop acts already. So I think that makes it two of us.
The full interview with Mike Portnoy about Parasomnia, Nick McBrain, and much, much more will be available on the channel next week, and is actually already available for all the patrons and all the sponsors of this channel, for whom I'm, by the way, very, very thankful for keeping it alive. So definitely, definitely do not miss it if you're a fan of this band. But anyways, what new music did you listen to this week? Please let us know in the comments. As always, thank you so much for watching this video, guys, and thank you so much for supporting me, this show in Ukraine, through this very, very difficult time. As always, please don't forget to like this video, comment under it, share the news, everything what every YouTuber asks you to do, and we will prevail. Slava Ukraini!